If you are a female singer that happens to have a soprano voice like most women, you might notice that maybe it's a little bit of a struggle to reach those low notes that we like, and not only in male songs, but also in songs sung by females that reach really low notes, such as, for example, Close to You by Karen Carpenter, Halo by Beyonce.
They didn't even make the sound.
This can be quite disheartening, and I know this well because I am myself a soprano and I happen to love low notes. So I have worked on that. In this video, I want to tell you what to do about it. And yes, there are solutions. I'm a vocal coach and I specialize on teaching adults how to sing contemporary music from a holistic and healthy approach. One thing to understand is that we have predominantly two big vocal registers. And of course, then there are the other registers like mix and fry and all the things, but mainly we have two main registers, the chest voice and the head voice. What I wanted to tell you today is that this is not the only way to name this. So this terminology is the most common, the one that you probably are familiar with, but you can call it also mass dominant register and tension dominant register. In another video, I'm going to explain the difference between them, but for now, just know that mass dominant register means that the vocalis muscle, it's a muscle inside the vocal cords, is predominantly active for pitch production in your mass dominant register, and tension dominant register doesn't mean that you are tense when you sing, but it means that the muscle that is predominantly in producing pitch in that register is the cricothyroideus, which is a muscle that kind of pulls the thyroid cartilage down, and so the vocal cords kind of stretch. It's a very simplistic way to put it, but anyway, that's the nerd part of the video. Now let's go to the other nerd part of the video. I actually prefer this terminology, mass dominant and tension dominant, because it actually explains a little bit more of what is happening, and that is gonna come in handy right now. So basically, when you are in your mass dominant register, the vocal muscle is predominantly active. And when you are in the tension dominant register, the vocal muscle is still active, but it's also giving way. Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying this video so far, but if you think that you are ready to stop consuming content and start taking action to actually become a great singer, then you should know that the applications for my one-on-one coaching program are now open. During the program, you will work with me directly one-on-one, as well as having access to a ton of resources to make sure that you transform your voice in no time. So if you think you are ready to take active action, or maybe if you are not, but you want to know what this is about, then go ahead and join my waitlist. I'll see you inside the program. So really, those two muscles, they work together. You are not using only a vocalis muscle when you are in your chest voice and only cricothyroideus when you are in your tension dominant register. It's not like that. You are always using both. It's kind of a pull and push sort of relationship. So you need both. That means that, this is point number one, for expanding your low range, you need to work on your high range as well. And for expanding your high range, you need to work on your low range as well. You need to work on the flexibility of those muscles, as well, of course, as the strength of them. That's the first thing. You don't work in notes in isolation. You have to expand the range both ways, basically. And how do you do it? Well, of course, the best thing to do is to actually go into a complete vocal training that works on all these elements in a more of an integral way. But just to give you somewhere to start with, a good starting point is the glissandos. So glissandos is when you go from one note to the next in a slide. So ideally, for example, a glissando of an octave sounds like this. Hopefully you could hear it, I'm not sure with the microphone. I'm gonna go down and then up. Ooh. Yeah, so notice that I'm not doing ooh, ooh, ooh. So it's not a jump, but a slide. You go through all the notes in between. And that helps you gain some flexibility between those muscles and crossing that bridge that everyone talks about. Secondly, one very important thing to understand is that for low notes, the muscle that is predominant in mass dominant register is called vocalis muscle. So that's inside your vocal cords. And it's part of what some methods will call the TA. It's actually part of it, but not the whole thing. It's more differentiated, or we want it to be. That's the goal. One thing to understand of the vocalis muscle is that it doesn't get bigger. So that is a very particular thing of this muscle. Like most muscles, work on them, tuk, 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 they get bigger. But the vocalis muscle doesn't, which is great because otherwise we will have a very big throat and we don't want that. And we will, every time we speak, we will be, increasing the volume of it. No, that would be funny, but not very functional. So anyway, it doesn't get bigger, and that's important to understand because usually people that have lower voices, they have a bigger muscle. We can't really change that with exercises. What we can do is we can increase the capacity of contraction and the differentiation. So the vocalis muscle, if you look at the structure of it, it's kind of a braided kind of structure. It's not like, straight fibers. And so because of that, it can be very differentiated and it can have a lot of capacity of contraction as well. And of course, working from a functional method, in this case, it becomes really important because having the possibility of differentiating this muscle depends on your capacity of using the right thing at the right time. You don't want to be using everything. That's not a goal. So there are a lot of exercises that you can do that will train the capacity of contraction of that muscle. I'm going to show you a very quick one right now, just so you have something to do. If you breathe in like this, and then you bring your arms to the sides, and then when you sing, you bring them towards your shoulders while you're singing. Of course, when you're singing your exercises or your scale, and this activates the bicep muscle that has a positive effect on the vocal muscle. So when you do this exercise, make sure that the elbows are not here, right? So they are kind of straight, and then you sing, and you even press a little bit. So you want to be gentle with this, but give it a little firm there. So that is like the most functional thing that I've been talking so far in this video. But now let's go to the third point. A good way to work on your vocal muscle is by using scales and sounds and vowels that tend to support the chest voice or muscle midline register, however you prefer at this stage. I'm going to be quick with this one. A very good vowel for low notes and for strengthening your mass is the vowel ah. So an open ah, so not ah, right? So open the mouth to sing the ah. And good scales for developing this are scales that have short intervals in between. So this is the opposite of the high notes that I talked about a few weeks ago. For example, the scale of 5, which sounds like this. And I did it fast there, but actually you want to do them slow. When you're working on improving your chest voice or your low notes, you want to use slow scales. That's how you do it. That's how you build the muscle. A good way to do it is to use ah, and you can also use ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah. I will do it much more slowly than that. And in some methods, they will also use consonants. In that range, I wouldn't suggest any consonants. If you are working in the octave 3, so this one, yeah, so that is for women that it's a little bit too low. So in that octave, I wouldn't dare to put too many consonants. I will maybe stick to ah, ah, oh, ah, ah, maybe. So you can put this exercise together with the point number 2 that I made. For example, if you're going to work with a scale of 5, that starts in a G3, which is quite low or for sopranos, but doable. So you breathe in. Ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah. Just an example. So remember to breathe. I'm giving you some options to make it easier, but remember the basics that you always want to do. You want to always breathe and you always want to open the mouth, basically. If you want to strengthen your voice, that's how you do it. You can use those scales and you can end up going quite low. And then of course, once you do, you want to go to the specific song that you want to sing. Very important when you are working with these songs as well is to kind of isolate that part that you are working with and work on it with the vowels first. So with the ah, so a sound that actually makes it easier for you to reach those low notes. And once you get it, that's when you add the consonants and the words. First you teach the system how to do it, then you add the lyrics. Yeah, so don't do those things at the same time because the progress is going to be more slowly. So anyway, those were my tips of the day. I hope they were useful. If you have any questions about it, let me know. And of course, if you want to have any other topic covered, let me know as well. If you like this video, press like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.